Okay, as we get into a conversation this hour, a lot has been happening around the world in the last couple of days, where there's certain announcements that have been made by the Trump administration, and everybody is up, in arms saying, okay, so what happens next? This conversation that we have today is actually looking at the role of Kenya's diaspora in promoting business and education, but maybe taking on a little bit of a different perspective. We have two guests in the studio this hour to help us do that. Kamau is the executive trustee and project director of the Diaspora University Town. Good morning.
Good morning.
And karibu sana. Professor Philliph Mutisya is the trustee and university academic founder of Diaspora University. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Karibu sana as well.
Asante.
Welcome to the hot seats of the Situation Room. I mean, we're getting into it this morning. I think a lot of interesting things that we go into and have questions about already. But let's welcome you in true Situation Room style. And CT goes around the continent, and we have to say this every day. Every week comes back with proverbs from a different country. So he lets you know what that is, and then you tell us what you think about it and how you would interpret that. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Our proverbs for the whole of this week ending today are from the United Republic of Tanzania. Okay? Maybe my canoe is bigger than yours, but the sea is the same. If there is no fish, we both go hungry. Let me repeat it. Maybe my canoe is bigger than yours, but if the sea is the same, if there is no fish, we both go hungry.
Let's start with you, Prof. What do you think about that?
Yes, the canoe is bigger and small.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, it's the same sea. There's
Same
no
sea.
fish.
Yes.
That, to me, it represents the how you plan ahead and how you predict what you are supposed to go to. You should know how much fish in there before you start going, and but you also competing for the same thing, but you don't have the resources, or you don't have the product. You do not know whether there is anything, but you're competing for something which you don't see. It reminds me of another saying which is says, be careful when a naked person offers your shirt. Because there's nothing, and you say, let's go fish.
Okay.
What about you, Dan?
Yes, my thinking is that, and I'm going to go probably just like the professor has stated, it's sort of like, it's regardless of whether you, how big your fishing rod or your canoe is, for there to be value, there has to be the fish. So that regardless of, like for example, if I was to apply like even the jobs in Kenya, if people, regardless of the size of the country, like Kenya or Uganda, if we don't create jobs, it's not the size of the country, it's the value of whatever the product is going to be.
Good.
Okay. Not bad.
Yes.
All right.
It's actually giving the proverb relevance.
Indeed.
Yes.
It is. So Kenya's diaspora, we've talked about, the relevance of Kenya's diaspora in different countries in the world. And the big, conversation has always been around remittances and how they're in the billions every year and how they're contributing towards the growth of Kenya's economy. But now we look at the importance of Kenya's diaspora and how they can contribute to business and education. And this is all coming off of the place that you have actually, told us about, which is the Diaspora University on one hand and the Diaspora University Town. Well, let's start from there. That we did not know that there was a Diaspora University in Kenya, or that there's one being built or founded. Let's start off with that. What's the Diaspora University?
I will let the original person answer, but I want to introduce this from my perspective, because I joined the Diaspora University. It used to be KUP, and then we ended up to Diaspora University. And basically, it is made of us, those who are in the diaspora. I've been there for 37 years, a professor for 4 universities in the state of North Carolina, and we when in the Dennis we're going to talk about how it started, so you understand. But the whole idea of a diaspora is how do we, those of us who are from here, from the diaspora, leverage our skills, talent, and treasure to give back. And that's why I really retired from, after 37 years in working as a professor, giving there. So now the idea is to come here and implement a university which will also produce better or similar outcome, which is to build the economy and improve education. And so I'll and then expound on the origin of it, because the philosophy of it is very interesting. And that's why I joined him in 2014.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, 2 professors actually. One is Professor Raphael Joroge. He passed on in 2014, and the other one is Professor Art Gastenfeld. They were in WPI University, and what they did was that they thought that they could start a university in Kenya. And they also invited us Kenyans who are living in the diaspora. By then I was living in the city of Worcester, to come into that discussion. And eventually we had the discussion, the idea shaped itself, and we felt that just the way Kenyans were literally going to look for jobs in the US, we could anchor a jobs creation project in Kenya through number one, a university, but also a development of a town. And that's how the plan shaped itself. And today we are implementing the Diaspora University Town in 1,500 acres. It's going to create 20,000 jobs. And it has also, when we came, we also found a community that also said, oh, we want to be part of this. And they had 5,500 acres of land. And today, sort of like the project, although we are doing it in 1,500 acres, it also encompasses the other 4,000. They are starting close to 30 businesses, 30 new businesses, as you have stated. And it will also create another 5,000 jobs, which now come to 20,000 jobs, 15,000 jobs at Diaspora University, another 5,000 jobs at that other 4,000 acres. So that's how the project came about. It's literally about making the number one, the land productive, and number two, the human resource, because we went to the diaspora because there were no jobs. So if we could get jobs here, it would be great for economy, and we could also grow economy.
So with the start of so who goes to the university?
Yes, that's a good question. The process we did was we asked that same question at that point when we were conceptualizing. We could look at it from the aspect that if you put out a university and number one, you don't have students coming in, you are going to end up with the buildings and a university that has no students. So we approached it from a different approach, whereby we said we first want to create an endowment. And an endowment is what funds the university. For example, right now, one of the best universities in the world, Harvard, has an endowment of 50 billion, has grown to 50 billion. So sometimes even in the news, we used to hear that even if Harvard did not have students paying, it could actually give 7 years to students coming in just without pay, because it has the money. So we created that. So right now, the Diaspora University project has an endowment valued at 3.8 billion, based on the plan that we have created, and it's going to fund the students. Who are the students who are going to come in? When Taita Taveta County Assembly passed the institution town plan that we are implementing, 200 students would come from Taita Taveta County, 10 from every ward, and there were some incentives there. The one incentives was that any fees, levies, and everything that the project is going to generate, 50% is going to come back. We are still trying to get the incentives increased to even 100%, and that's one. That's how we are going to get the students. We are also looking at getting the students from all over the country, Kenya. And again, the process is that as we create the endowment, we're also going to create a student finance fund. And that's where the SMEs or businesses also come in, because we're not just bringing the university, we're also bringing a lot of businesses that will work hand in hand with the university. For example, we have Daktari Biotechnology, Medicine and Vaccine, that the university is already invested 30%, that is going to build a medicine and vaccine plant there. Yes.
Do you already have a charter from the Ministry of Education?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yes, I can explain the charter also. What happens is that when you start in a university is a business in itself. Yes. So you start it as a business. So we have the trust. The trust is created. So you endow the resources to the trust. Once you kick off the university, the Commission of University of Education will first of all give you a letter of interim authority. That will kick off your university after 4 years, or as you go along, when now they feel that your university is stable. It does not need, you can actually call students and offer them that 4-year degree program. Then you can ask for the charter. So the charter takes a long time.
Okay, so to my second question, it's called the Diaspora University and Diaspora University Town, yes, respectively. But my question is, how exactly would it work? Why not just call it Taita Taveta New University? Why the emphasis on diaspora, especially if professors retired and come back? What is going to be the connection with the diaspora, and how will a student who's registering be connected with that term, diaspora?
Yes, the name itself, as we came to work on the name, there were several names. Number one, Darabi community had joined us in the project. Of course, we had diaspora Kenyans who are coming to the project. So, from a name perspective, once the persons who are there were asked, they said, "Oh, why don't we give the name diaspora as an incentive for diaspora to bring back resources to like education and other resources?" So the name diaspora came from that fact of telling the diaspora, just bring back education, bring back these resources, that was the whole process. On the other side of the diaspora now, being Diaspora University, once, of course, a student comes there, and remember, a name is a name, and sometimes we also give university names of even persons. So basically, once students come there, they would, of course, know that this educational system came from the diaspora. And again, we are not starting a university from scratch. We are literally adopting, the professors adopted a university system where they were working, which was WPI University. So they say this system, if you put it in place, it is going to be good for the academic process and the teaching of students. It's a system of project-based learning, which enables students also to literally be able to start businesses after they complete the university.
What would be the difference between this and any other university in the country which essentially does the same thing? Which transfers skills and knowledge to others, and they graduate and they get a certificate and they go out into the work world?
Good question. For example, also in terms of the identity and the name, it's inspired. It's inspired by people who have been out there in the diaspora, which, like me, and we are bringing back because we built over there. Now it's reverse. When you talk about remittances, even with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, which has been diaspora, we have it's inspired by us coming back and giving back because of the brain drain, for example. That's what inspired us. And I came here to invest. I left a hole when I went, and I built over there. Like he said, the university we are affiliated with, who inspired the idea with the Bishop Joroge and the Garden Field, the people who originate, they were doing it not to create an American university, no, but it's to leverage our capacities, especially like academic person like me, who has developed there, and now I have a capacity to come do even better university. Difference of the Diaspora University is in programming. In the areas of academic offering, we're going to have 4 degrees to start with, one in engineering. We have also the School of Business and Leadership and Entrepreneurship. Then we also have the Arts and Sciences, and in that we eventually have programs which are designed. The curriculum is designed to develop students to be actually not consumers of knowledge, but creators of knowledge, transformational leaders, whereby when you come to Diaspora University, the project-based learning is similar to what the CBC here is, curriculum. Because what it is, you have to create experience which have tangible, something you can show, not just show, but you can also earn as you learn. And I can sum it up better with the organization I've created an Academy of Process Education, focus on the process, and then engage the learner with the content and interaction and in a collaborative and a partnership way. Then when they leave, for example, first year, they have something to show. And also they have given to the community. They are part and parcel of creating experiences, and the internalization of the experience is translated to a measurable way, whereby they can say, okay, last year I learned this, and project-based, it has to have it's like an apprenticeship model, whereby you are intern, you are learning and creating, as opposed to just going through lecture theories, and then when you come out there, you have a piece of diploma, and you cannot even have a solution or create a solution in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A question to you. There is a process of creating a university.
Yes.
In this country. In that process, where are you?
Yes. The first stage of creating a university, there are things that are needed when you have to operationalize a university.
No, just operationalizing.
Yes.
Even before the discussion on operationalization comes in, there is a process that is followed in this country if you want to create or you want to build a university. So I'm asking, in that process, where are you?
Yes, we are right now. We are at the stage of, we have created the endowment, which is the capital of the university. Once you create the endowment, the capital of the university, you then submit the proposal and you attach eight other documents. The first one is a detailed curricula, which is what the professor is working on. The second one is a physical infrastructure, which is the buildings and everything. The third one is, of course, where is your staff going to come from? Then the fourth, then there's also the library. So there are all those pieces that you have to put into place. It has actually anchored on there's a university act of parliament for that. So you have to develop all those. Then once you put all those, you take it them to the Commission of University of Education. So right now where we are the part of literally those arranging all those resources so that you can take them to the commission.
Have you registered the name?
The trust is already registered.
It is registered?
Yes.
And what is it registered as?
It's the trust is registered under the Trustees Perpetual Act. It's actually one of the requirements of before you have to bring a certificate of incorporation of a trust or a business. if somebody wanted to put it as the Companies Act, so that's the other side. You would put it or in the trust. So as we are putting it in a trust, so that one is already incorporated under the Perpetual Trustees Act. So that one is already there. So that's what we are operating.
So you're starting the entire process with the trust.
Yes, it starts with the trust.
And once the trust is operationalized is when you propose to begin the process of establishing the university.
Yes. Yes. You then, the trust now submits all the documents that are needed. But once a trust is created, and this is the standard process is because most of the universities all over the world are endowments. You endow, you then now, once you create that trust, that's the first step of creating the university, the resources, where it's going to be. Then you meet all those requirements that are in the trust.
And I think also the uniqueness, again, back to what Du asked about, this is not a government, public institution.
It's a private university.
No, it's not private.
What is it?
It's based on trust in the community.
Yes.
It's community. Whereby
I can explain that one. Yes. Remember, the only difference between a public university and a private university is where the resources are endowed by the public and where the resources are endowed by the people, the same public, in their capacity as private. So there's no difference so much. So in this case, the resources were not endowed through the government, but endowed in the private. Like, for example, we didn't get a budget of coming up and saying, there's a budget to create this university. We actually worked on it, put our resources, and the endowment has come from Kenyans, both in Kenya and also in Kenya, your community, putting those resources as in their private capacity. Yes.
Okay, so who makes up the trust?
The trust is, once you register a trust, what happens is when you're registering in the trust, you take the resources that you have, you endow them.
So I understand generally about a trust. Who makes up the trust for this university?
Yes. Now we have the trustees.
Yeah.
We have 4 trustees actually. We have trustees from the Diaspora Kenya, and we also have trustees from the community in Voi. So the trustees now are made from the people, mainly the people who endowed the resources. But again, trustees, you can add any person anytime. For example, you see people can come in and also endow other resources, and they can also become trustees. So basically, and a trustee is very different. It's just a trust doing the role that because we started with a development plan. So all you are doing now is enacting that plan.
So you've said that in this endowment you have got what, 100 billion Kenya shillings?
No, it's valued at right now in the audit report. The last audit report, it was valued at 3.2 billion.
3.2 billion Kenya shillings.
Yes.
All right. So this 3.2 billion, you said it's a valuation.
Yes.
Is it, how much of it is in actual liquid cash, and who would you say, without of course naming names, are the people who have put in who are they? Is it business people? Is it academicians? Is it well wishers?
Yes.
Members of the diaspora.
Yeah.
Yes. As you stated, any idea that starts, and I'm going to also utilize also an example. The only project that we comparative with is Konza City right now. When Konza kicked off as an idea, they said, we are going to need some money. That was in 2008. And people had tax money, and an office was opened. So even ourselves, once an idea, the professor started the process back in the US, it required money. So the money was put in. So eventually that process, money keeps being put in. Even Konza right now, just on the side of what we would call operational side, in the last 16 years, with the public of Kenya, we give around $1 billion every year, just to operational side. So basically that's also what we have done. Then the second part is, of course, the land is also a part of the community. So those are the resources you then value.
my question still stands, and I'll tell you why I am being a bit pedantic about this question. In any organization, you must always follow the money. So, for example, if I'll give you Kansas City, because I happen to do a documentary in Kansas City. Kansas City is a government concern, and the government decided to put in the ICT infrastructure, and they've got brilliant servers, brilliant infrastructure. The roads are good, the sewage is good, and that's what the government pays for. That's where the 1 billion goes. The public then comes in to buy pieces of land and invest in that place where you get your office space, you get to use their servers, and it's sort of like an ICT assisted area. So now in your description, you've got trustees. Now, trustees put in money because they have a certain interest. Some are charitable, some have a business interest, some have political interest. They want to say, I invested here and I changed the lives of the people. I'd like just to see how that trusteeship is done.
Yes. Again, let me answer that one a little bit different. Trustees don't have a personal interest. Any trust, there's no personal interest as is created. Like, for example, right now, today, if you appointed a Harvard University trustee, you're not going to go with your personal interest. You're going to actually enact the process.
But that trusteeship is different because when you're appointed a trustee and you've not put in your money, there's other people's resources, whether it's donations and whatever, that you're put in charge of. From what I want to know, trustee or not, where is the money coming
who contributes
from?
to?
Yes. And thank you for that. Actually, that was a very brilliant question. We covered that question for close to 3 years at the WPI University, and the question came about was number one: how do you develop? If you want to develop something, how do you develop? And eventually, in the business school of WPI, that was Gastenfeld. We kept looking at the process of what do you call money? What is money in itself? And eventually we got a breakthrough when we looked at it on the context that money comes in when people work or when you value natural resources. And so basically we then looked at it in the context of how was also WPI created, and the process was that people endowed and gave out resources of money. In our project, we decided we were going to have two things in place. There's a university and there's also development of a town. One thing that has happened in Kenya in the last 60 years is that we have not yet developed new towns, because Nairobi plan literally goes pre-dependence. We look at Nakuru or Mombasa, the towns that right now you could say that have a sewage plan. All of them are pre-independence, but all the other small towns and cities that are there, they are not yet. They don't even have plans themselves. So we were in Massachusetts, and we were looking at it from that point and saying, this is a state with 350 towns and cities. We know where the water comes from. We know where the sewage goes. There's no dust. There's all these roads. So we balanced it and then said, at the end of the day, what is the resource that in Kenya or in Africa that is not being utilized the right way to actually grow your GDP? We realized it's the human resource. Right now, today, we are going to waste a lot of human resource by people not even working. And you can't produce anything without working. So that's how we came about, and we then looked at the capital. So the project itself, when the first class is graduating, the university will have its endowment will be around 20 billion, but its assets will be around 30 billion. So the town itself will have property, because property is a single property that stands on itself. We'll have property and businesses, around 300 businesses, and 6,700 and over 6,700 properties. Those properties themselves is also what we also ask people to come also to develop. So we have Kenyans who have joined this. We already have close to 500 Kenyans who are now property developers in this project. The consolidation of property development has not been done in Kenya, and that's also why we also have that process that you will find that many families in Kenya right now are living in a planned settlement or even in slums because we have not built a property. So basically there was also that process, and as Professor Mutisya was saying, one of the areas, because when you identify your university, you also have to look at what direction do I want to go. The area that this university wants to support is number one, jobs creation, where the human resource is not being lost to the future. Today, as I stated, over 20 million Kenyans don't have formal jobs. Many of them will do something, but they will not have a formal way of making income. The second side that we were looking at on this university is that it has to support the Kenyans' rights, the ones that they said they want. Article 42, clean and healthy environment. Article 43, healthcare, housing, clean water, food. So those were the areas, and also education, and then the children right in Article 53. So those are the areas that we want to concentrate on.
Let's take a break at that point, Mark, so we can take a quick look at that weather and traffic. Looking at how education and business can be supported. Let's look a little bit more into that and see what's on offer currently and how is that changing Kenya as opposed to bringing in something new. All right, we're looking at Diaspora University and Diaspora University Town. We're also looking at supporting business and education through this. Our guests this hour are Professor Mutisya and also Dan Kamau. Go ahead.
Well, you know, when you talk about cities, there are 4 cities within Nairobi, within the environs of Nairobi, I should say, that have been proposed. We talked about Konza, there's Tatu City, there's Northland City, and there's one that was still in the drawing stage called Railway City. City, you know, the space between, is it South B, South C, and the railway. So it's supposed to be a young, posh, urban area. So there's a journey that is a bit askew for me because unfortunately I went to the United States and I was trained on financial propriety and impropriety. So one of the questions that that has risen in my mind when I look at these places, their financial plan is very clear, and who they expect money from and when is very clear. So there's a jump that has been done here where there's a 3 billion valuation, which we don't know whether it is in assets, because the 3 billion could just be the 1,500 acres, so there's no cash per se, and then from 3 billion there's a jump that after the first graduation there'll be 30 billion shillings in assets and 20 billion shillings in the bank. Now that math, based on how businesses grow and are done, together with the model of endowment, is not tallying in my mind. So take us through the financial journey so that anyone listening can understand that if they do send their children there, the university will not shut down when the child is in second year. And where is that money coming from? And where is 30 billion worth of assets, 50 billion total cash and assets coming from about 3 billion valuation, because valuation is not cash. So how is that working?
3.2.
Yeah.
3.2 billion.
Yeah,
Yes,
3.2.
I stated 3.2. Yes. And again, I stated very clearly that in any part, anywhere in the world, the first part, and I use Konza as an example. If I was now to use Konza, and today I was to be told, please value Konza for us, I would, of course, I know what the land cost was, but I would go to what the Kenyans have put in the last, from 2008 to today, to operate those offices. Because no institution operates because of an asset. It also operates because of people working, producing. And producing. So for us to be able to reach that, you also have to create that model. And you say, this is the model that we want to create and move forward. What I'm saying is, the model that we have created has not yet been created, because at the end of the day, if it had been created, the first thing would have been, we would see it all over the country. For example, land in Kenya, there's plenty of land in Kenya. There are so many people in Kenya. And I simplify the factors of productions as 3: land, human resource, and money. I do not place money as important as the human resource, because it is a human being who will produce, it's not money. And secondly, it's a human being who's going to consume. So what we found out as we were looking at this project is that Kenyans tend to look at money more than the human resource. And that's why most sides we fail to advance our country, and then we have 20 million people unemployed or don't have formal jobs or can't meet their needs, not because they don't have the human resource, not because we don't have land, but because the whole debate is coming on the factor that money. And that's the part, I'm just saying from our project point of view, just to say that on the side of, somebody could have a different opinion, but remember, on our side, that's what we have done. So basically, you value assets. Any balance sheet, I'm an accountant, I studied business and economics. When you do your balance sheet, you have your assets. On the other side, you have how are your assets created? Are they created with capital or loan? So basically, what I'm saying is, at the end of 5 years, when our university is there, we will have the buildings of the university. We will have everything that is there. But on the other side, we will have created 20,000 jobs. We will have put 100 million hours of human resource to productivity. 100 million hours of human resource, if you are to value it at around 500, an average of 500 shillings based on the different professionals that are there, that's an equivalent of a work of 50 billion that has been done in that project. That's how we are looking at it.
So allow me, because there's a misnomer there. First, money does produce. Yes. You can put your money in a savings account, it will give you 7%. You can put your money in the money markets, you'll get 11 to 12%. Sometimes 15% if you put it in unit trusts. The point I'm saying, it is untrue to say that money does not produce value, because that is misleading the public.
Let me correct you. That one I have to correct. That one I have to correct. I did not say money is not a producer, just like land is a producer. I did not say money is not a producer. But I said the most important resource of the 3, money, human resource, and land. The most important is the human resource. That's what I said. I did not say money is not a producer.
Okay, so the question is here then, even as we look at human resource and things that will come out after 5 years, are we saying that at the very beginning of the establishment of the city and establishment of the university are these, because it of course necessary to understand how they were established in the first place. I say this because of pointed examples we have in Kenyan society today of universities where public money has been used to establish them, and today they are shells of what they used to be, and they're individuals who were in these universities who unfortunately will not be able to continue, number one, and there was mismanagement at various levels, and then icons of education in the country unfortunately have now fallen to their knees. So in the very foundation and the management, it is important to know how, who, what, where, when.
And this, I just to have to answer that based on how I came in. Who am I? I am the person who left here, went to improve my education and career, built my career, developed a capacity, a resource, what he's talking about, social capital, that which I can leverage to come here instead of just sending money home and say, okay, or sending students away. I like the plan, because the plan is designed to attract those of us who have resources, talent, time, and treasure, not just the money. Because I've amassed a great deal of experience, work with the institutions, and this also idea of leveraging the institutional the experiences we have, capital we create, knowledge creation by self.
Okay.
That's why, and then how do I come in and make a difference? It's the designing of the programs, the degree programs, whereby when you come in the door, I have contributed to it by sacrificing my time to come here. We've been meeting and planning, and I'm going to put about 400 hours in the next couple months to register the organization that is university programs, degree programs. And then I'm also working on developing the faculty, because that's my best suit, as academic.
So if I'm to understand you, Professor,
Yes.
what we've heard so far is the vision.
Yes.
This is the plan that you have.
Yes.
Besides the plan, you said you have 1,500 acres.
Yes.
Who does it belong to?
Okay. They belong to the community who...
It belongs to the trust right now.
Trust, the community granted this
land.
Okay.
Then
Is it
the trust was developed under that?
Okay.
So it's under
the title
trust.
deed on that land? Whose name appears on that title deed?
Diaspora University Trust.
Yeah.
Diaspora University Trust, 1,500.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, apart from the vision, we actually have the land.
Yes.
So you could say, we can point to and say we have a starting point, and the starting
Yes.
point is going to be on this piece of property. Okay. Now, you've started the ball rolling.
Yes.
You've talked about a curriculum which you're developing, which in due course you'll present to the relevant authorities to determine whether it is suitable for the institution or not. Okay, 1. 2, from what I have listened to, you are still raising funds.
Yes.
You want to sell the vision and the idea so that those who are interested can participate. Have I understood that correctly?
Yes, it's the same thing. Let me just put just a small addition. The first thing that the first resource we created was which was created in the WPI. That was in WPI. We never approached it from let's get the land, let's work. I would not be in Kenya if we approach that. We first of all said, why has Africa not developed? Why did the GDP of the US grow from 57 billion to the current 29 trillion? So that was what we sat down in the business school of the WPI with the professors and looked at it. Then we came up with the master development plan. So that master development plan is what now we led us to come to actually the county and say, this is the development plan that we want if instituted, can create 15,000 jobs, can develop this university, a hospital, or SMEs. We came to the county assembly. We utilized Article 185(4) of our Kenya Constitution for that to be passed. So by the time we got to the land, we were placing a whole development plan inside that land.
So the university, according to you, is a catalyst. You have a bigger plan than the university.
So we are developing a town, a university town. So it will have a university, it will have a hospital, it will have businesses. Right now, in the diaspora community right now, around 50 businesses. Dr. Idege in Boston, medicine and vaccine. We have ladies and a team of people who are working on the hospital system to just about. So
all that is good.
Yes.
All that is good.
Yes.
What in all this is the particular investment or the particular idea that this thing is supposed to revolve around?
The part about in town development and university development, all of it, again is at the end of the day, it's who are the people who are going to be living there? Yes. What are they going to do every day?
But there are already people living. That is why there's a community that was able to give you the land.
Yes. But the key part about it is, as we are stating right now, there's once you go to let's say most communities even here, is they are there. But they have the resources themselves. Like this community we have has the resources. But at the end of the day, if you ask the person, do you have enough money for food? They might say no. Do you have health care? No. And that's why we said the development plan that we worked in, the master development plan, is for developing those rights for those persons. So when the community put the land, all they are doing is saying, let's achieve the rights of ourselves by becoming the land becoming productive. Right. This plan changing the land to become productive so that it can meet the
if I may, just a second.
Yes, Prof.
The good one word I can explain what you're asking for. We are creating an ecosystem, which is a model actually emerging from global development in education, economic, in the development, international development. There is an ecosystem. We are creating an ecosystem in an empty. People are not living there. Creating infrastructure to produce, to leverage the land. It's sitting here for years. Now we are making it productive.
If I may, we at the top of the hour. You guys, as you go, the thing that I want you guys to think about is Kenya has 82.8% literacy rates. We produce millions of graduates every day. And if you look at the development plan for Kenya, it is industry that is the next development stage for Kenya. So maybe you can go think about it, and then when you come back next, we can have a conversation about those particular jobs and how to transform these societies.
Sadly, our time runs out too quickly. Dan Kamau, who is the Executive Trustee and Project Director of Diaspora University Town, and Professor Philliph Mutisya, Trustee and University Academic Founder, Diaspora University, have been our guests this hour. Thank you so much for being here this morning, and we look forward to the next conversation. Good morning.
This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.